Saturday night, so I'll end up doing Saturday night, and then we'll see who can do Sunday, I don't know. Mark said he could help me do Sunday, but it's Super Bowl. Yeah. What we saw last night,
Treasurer's report and bills to be paid.
and she's friends with me, Saviello. I saw her getting Saviello.
Bills to be paid.
And the Saviello's a friend of the family, she'd be up there. She's on about it. Yeah. No, wait, sorry, she's on it. What floor is that from? Oh, you are? Right here. This is right here. I don't know, girlfriend here. No,
They need to get taken care of.
I'll sit next to you. Oh, it's just stressful. I'm number one between the numbers. Nothing's going on. I was going to do it with my little Township. Oh, really? Yeah. I pulled in. I was making sure you were coming, so I didn't know if you were coming.
Waiting on you.
All right, we gotta do our shit right now.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Upper Frederick Township Board of Supervisors, regular monthly meeting, February 10th, 2022. Please stand for the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment period. Any comments? Okay, no public comment. Minutes, January 13th, 2022, Board of Supervisors meeting. Any comments? Good. Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
I wasn't here.
Okay, sorry, I forgot.
He's not saying anything.
All right. Okay. Treasurer's report, bills to be paid.
So before you, you have the treasurer's report showing fund balances. We also have, towards the beginning of your treasurer's report, a memorandum / summary from the new treasurer, trying to kind of just give you an overview of the budget the first month of the year and kind of how it compares to the first month of the year in 2021. And she kind of just touches on some different funds and how the funds seem pretty good. So at this point, it looks like your budget's looking good so far. We're only a month into the year, but everything seems okay. There were a couple, we had some repairs to machinery that was a little high, but it just happened that way. And our medical insurance is a little higher this month because we have a new person on the plan. Okay?
Okay. I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented and file for audit. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the bills list is in your packet behind the treasurer's report. The bills to be paid for January total $72,668.34.
Yeah. All right, I make a motion to approve the payment of the bills and to advance the treasurer the funds to pay any needed bills or expenditures to save penalties or accrue interest and payroll prior to the Board of Supervisors meeting on March 10th, 2022. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Emergency services.
Okay, do we have You have here, is that it?
Yep.
Pat. Okay, so Plymouth Ambulance
He's here too.
is here, okay, well, there we go, we'll let them do their reports then.
Who goes first?
Plymouth,
Oh, okay. 21 calls for the month. 15 of them were at Upper Frederick, or I'm sorry, Frederick Living. In Upper Frederick.
all right, we don't have, I don't think we have anything from Harleysville, Fire Company.
We actually had a busy month. We had 22 calls for the month. One of them was a working fire on Schneider Road. We also had another working fire yesterday on Big Road. And just to remind everybody, that State Police Fire Marshal, the Fire Marshal from New Hanover, myself handled the investigation and found that there was the guy threw trash out on his deck, a wooden deck, and there was laundry detergent and batteries in there. And once the laundry detergent broke down the coating of the batteries, it spontaneously combusted and set the trash bag on fire. So, right in front of the only exit to the place. Passerby happened to see it and called it in. And they knocked it out a little bit with a pail of water, and then we finished the job when we got there. But sometimes you gotta watch what you throw away.
Good to know. All right. Water and sewer plant report?
No violations to report. The water plant, have a little problem with the booster pump down there. Told Rick about it. It won't reach set pressure, so I'm not using that one. If worst comes to worst, I would just have to make a little adjustment, so it would, otherwise it runs 24 hours, so. We're at least working with Eastern about that. And Ivy Ridge was pretty good, just had frozen pipes, when we had that real cold weather. But it didn't affect the operation of the plant, no violations.
Okay, good. Okay. Public Works?
I'm gonna go ahead and give that report tonight, Steve couldn't make it. So the guys have been doing a lot of work on the roads with these storms we've been getting, so there has been a lot of overtime with that. They rebuilt some road closure barricades, they've done some winter maintenance, pothole repairs. They put together some new park benches, and I think this week they may have installed a couple of them out at Spielhofer Park, and then some work on equipment.
Okay. You guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
Environmental Engineers Report.
All righty, the report's been submitted. We've been working on the Chapter 94 Municipal Waste Load Management Reports for Purple Crossing Wastewater Treatment Plant and Ivy Ridge Wastewater Treatment Plant for the water system. As Matt said, the one booster pump isn't meeting pressure, so we had Eastern Environmental out there. They were out today checking the current draw on it, so we're trying to see what the issue is, diagnose it. There is a spare pump and motor there, so worst case scenario, depending on what needs to be done with that, we can swap out the one that's there. So we'll know shortly on that. The DEP routine inspection in December at the water plant had a couple little bullet items that they wanted us to do. One of those included putting a new cap on well 2. So CS Garber was out there to take care of that. They came out yesterday, we hoped to be done yesterday, but their welder wasn't working right, so they came back this morning, knocked that off. Matt's done great. He put on a pressure gauge and another little backflow point on the sampling point that DEP wanted, and did the secondary containment for the hypochlorite tank. So we took pictures of those, sent it into DEP, and Shannon there at DEP's happy. We just have 2 more forms to submit to her, and then that's current. As the packet completed the draft of the spec to be used for, evaluation of upgrade potentials for the hydrant capacity at the Upper Crossing. So we'll maybe happy to connect with you guys all whenever you want to go through
details on that.
Okay.
And that's the main things, no other discussion with the developers. I haven't heard anything on those proposed developments, so all quiet there.
Yeah, so just to follow up on that, in front of you guys is the draft document that he's referring to. He just got that to me today, so.
Yeah, that's my fault for taking the longer to get it over to Tracy, so I apologize
That's
here.
fine. So we'll give you guys a few weeks, and maybe at your workshop, we can have Rick come and go over this and kind of dig into it. So this is in response to the fire last fall, when we had the public meeting with residents from Perkiomen Crossing, and it was suggested that we should do an analysis of the water system there and determine if there's some upgrades that could happen to increase the capacity of the fire hydrants. So Rick helped to put this together so that ultimately we can go out for an RFP and find somebody to do that analysis.
Okay.
Mark will get a copy of this.
No, but we'll give it to him for sure.
I have my spare, you want me to give it to him now?
Oh, I've got a whole
Okay.
file in there,
Okay.
yeah, we can,
Okay.
yeah, so Pat, make sure you get one before you leave.
I'm leaving in about a few minutes because I have a meeting at the firehouse.
Right here, on your way.
That's good.
Thank you.
Civil engineers report.
Okay, LTL has updated the engineer's report and distributed to the appropriate township personnel. We've updated it, but there's not really anything on there that is not a separate line item on the agenda
Okay.
to be discussed.
Okay, all right. Building inspectors report, zone hearing board.
So the permits processed in January were 3. There were 2 inspections. With regard to zoning issues, one of the fires that Pat mentioned was also a property that we have zoning issues on. I haven't had a chance to drive by the property, but my understanding is the sheriff was supposed to have cleared out the property yesterday.
I thought the 8th.
So, what's that?
The realtor told me the 8th. They were
Okay,
gonna
well, I
be
think
there.
they were, according to our guys, they were out there with dumpsters yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't gone out to just get a sense of how much, we're hoping that they really cleaned it up. So that's that one. No update on a couple of these other ones. 1104 Snyder Road, looks like there's a hearing scheduled for March 10th in court. And I know our zoning officer's been working on the violation at 1646 Gravel Pike. He did extend that hearing because they've slowly been doing improvements, but it's been very slow. So that hearing is now scheduled for March 3rd, 2022.
Okay. Planning commission?
There was no planning commission for the month of January.
Regional planning commission.
No, let's see, let me get back up for a minute if we have one. No, I don't think we have one in January.
Parks and Rec.
Do we have
Okay,
anyone?
yeah, you
Oh, nice.
How you doing? Sorry, it's not good. Let's see, I don't think this was covered at the last meeting, I don't think we had anybody present at the last meeting, but we did the Christmas tree pickup on January 8th, collected 41 trees in total. Thanks for the use of the truck and trailer to pick that stuff up, always a big help. We began clearing trails on February 5th at Bob Whalen Park for the trail run that's going to take place April 9th, 9 a.m. Our next trail clearing will be on the 19th of this month, and we'll probably have the Boy Scouts with us for help, in case we get lost or something. Next park board meeting will be on the 15th, and we'll begin the planning of community day then.
Great. Okay. New business. Resolution 2022-03 Alberts Track Subdivision.
So this is a 2-lot subdivision. I think the engineer is here on behalf of the applicant, and I think Norm just had a few remaining comments to cover, if I understand correctly. This is a 2-lot subdivision on Kratz Road. There's a house existing, they're subdividing off a smaller piece for a family member. And the planning commission recommends approval subject to the conditions and LTL's letter.
Okay, so, as Tracy had pointed out, it's a 2-lot subdivision on Kratz Road. It's gone through a plan review, and there are maybe 4 or 6 items that are remaining. Signing plans, we've got to get a couple of things squared away on pins and monuments. Plans need to be updated in a couple of places, but they're really dotting i's and crossing t's. There would be 2 waivers that are being requested by the applicant that would need action by the board. They were both recommended by the planning commission, and those, one of the waivers deals with roadway improvements, roadway widening, paving, things like that, shoulder work. And then the other one, I'm sorry, hold on a second. I'm sorry, one was the roadway widening, one was shoulder work. So that's really what they're dealing with, and the sections are outlined in the letter. So the board would need to act on those 2 waiver requests that were recommended by the planning commission. However, even keeping that in mind, in conjunction with the couple of plan changes that need to be done, LTL would be comfortable, recommend a conditional final approval conditioned upon LTL's letter dated January 24th of 2022.
And I will just add that from the planning commission standpoint, they were supportive of those waivers because it's a pretty rural road and it didn't really make sense to have to widen it and then do an 8-foot shoulder. So that's why they supported those 2 waivers. Also, I did ask the roadmaster to go out and take a look at the existing driveway because it was suggested that he should make sure everything's okay with that, and he was fine with the existing driveway to the house. They did remove a small piece of their driveway that exists because it encroached onto the neighboring property. So that's been resolved as well, it sounds like.
Okay. What do you think? Okay.
The resolution I prepared actually includes the waivers, so you don't, that's part of that process. So, very brief. And also, in conjunction with that, there's escrow that needs to be posted for planting of trees. And I put together an escrow agreement and I'll provide that to Tracy so that I can go to the developer, or to the property to get that taken care of.
Do they need to take action on the escrow agreement?
When it comes back, signed by the developer, we'll
Okay, great.
do that.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-03 to approve the Alberts Track subdivision. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 2022-04, update public participation resolution to include a penalty provision.
Yeah, when this, we had a recommendation that we include a penalty provision in the resolution which we adopted back in last year regarding the public participation. So we did a resolution to include a penalty provision in accordance with the crimes code. So, but I would caution you, I think that in order to enforce that, someone have to visually be here from the police. State police won't file citation based on information. They wouldn't just take your word for it that it happened, they'd have to be here to see that for
Okay.
That's prepared for adoption.
I'd rather have it in than not.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah. Okay. Here it is. What do you think? Good. Okay. Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-04 to include a penalty provision in the public participation resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Old business. Scioto Village.
This is really old business.
Recommendation for denial, current waiver extension expires 2/14/2022.
Yeah, this plan goes back to 2003, and there's been no movement on getting it approved. The zoning hasn't changed, so still the zoning is the same as it was back then. There have been other ordinances in the past that would impact the development plan. Repairing corridors and the stormwater management has changed. So that will probably impact what happens on the site. But I think the board decided it's appropriate to reject the plan as it is now. And the last review letter that came from LTL went back to May 25th, 2004. So we rejected based on the comments that contained that letter. Now, the comments in that letter referred to the old ordinance. So what I had to do was go back through the letter and update the comments to the current code sections, the same section with different code numbers. So I prepared a letter for Tracy to send out, assuming you don't deny it, and so she can send out this week with the current code sections.
Okay. All right. Make a motion to deny Scioto Village preliminary plan application and associated preliminary plans dated March 25th, 2004 due to non-compliance with township regulations as outlined in the LTL Consultants LTD letter dated May 25, 2004. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry. The second wrong.
Okay. Resolution 2022-05, employee handbook update, include comp time and COVID pandemic policies.
So, the draft that you have before you was updated based on your work session last week. I believe I've captured everything that was discussed at that meeting. Like you said, it includes a comp time policy, it includes a COVID/pandemic policy. It adds some sick time for employees, allowing them to roll over up to 10 days per year. It changes our pension vesting to 5 years. And I think those were the main things. Let me just take a quick look at my notes here. Yeah, I believe those were a lot of the main things that had been discussed last year. Last week.
And there was also the PTO.
That's right.
the number-
So the timing of when PTO starts accumulating, it's the first 24 months for 15 days per year, and then after that, it's 20 days per year, based on their anniversary date. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-05 to adopt the amended